Awesome. Go for it, Angela.
Okay. Like Mark said, there are so many different features that comes out in each release. It's kind of hard to curate this list, but definitely feel free to interrupt me if you have a question on a feature that I'm going over, and um, we will get started. Hopefully my screen goes through. Just some of the release topics we'll go over or our general enhancements, manual record sharing, Salesforce meetings, in-app learning, case management, knowledge, some general productivity features like Lightning Page performance, analytics, Salesforce Mobile, customization, extras, and resources. And the first enhancement on the docket under their general enhancements that's being updated is being able to quickly find portal users when you're changing the owner record. So now you have a filter when you do a drop down for changing an account owner, and you're able to see the customer portal user. Click on that and choose your portal user now at this point. So it just made it a little bit more efficiently to be able to assign accounts to your community users. Also now a feature that was solely for Classic, which is manual record sharing, they've now brought onto the Lightning platform. So now you're able to actually share records and manage record shares with the functionality using the Lightning experience, and you'll just see it as a drop down and you'll be able to click sharing. There have been some enhancements to Salesforce Meetings. It's changing the way sales reps engage with their prospects and their clients now. And so they have two features. One is called the Meeting Digest. And the Meeting Digest basically delivers this one-page view for sales reps before their meetings. They're able to get insights on who's attending, reminders about the meeting invitation responses, and other details and related record activity. And in addition to the Meeting Digest, they also have the Meeting Studio, which is really neat. It's a tool that allows you to be able to show your camera and present your window and the same window experience to keep the meeting flowing, to bypass any awkward transitions, like switching between content. So I thought that was pretty cool that they have this studio. For the one area, basically, the audience can see your camera. And then in section 2, basically, they'll be able to see the content that you present during the meeting, and they can switch the content without stopping and resharing a different window for a browser tab. Also in section 3 is if the rep launches Meeting Studio directly from the Meeting Digest, they also have access to meeting information from the Meeting Digest. And then 4 is just the presenters panel, which is included as a place to take notes and to ensure that everyone is aligned before, during, and after the meeting. Next, they have this feature. There's like a suite of changes under in-app learning now. 2 of the things I'm going to highlight is in-app learning with Trailhead, which basically allows you to bring the Trailhead experience inside of Salesforce for your users. So anyone can use this. You can set this up for any of your users to be able to take Trailhead modules. You can choose the modules that appear. You can assign them to specific users or public groups to match the learning to the context where the user encounters it. You can enable your Trailblazers to read different modules or take quizzes or earn badges. But one of the things I like about it is now they have this guidance center for new admins, or any admin for that matter, where you're able to basically use the guidance center to set up your org. If it's your first time ever setting up an org, you can use it as a resource. that will align to your experience level or your business goals. And you can learn about planning a rollout or setting up basic sales and service features or managing and securing data. So you don't have to be, very intimidated about setting up an org. They have this cool guidance center, and it basically can walk you step by step through rolling out your org as a new admin. I thought that was pretty cool. Next, there was some case management upgrades, and a lot of it was to a lot of the email components. And if you ever use the no reply address for email notifications, the no reply address used to be very defaulted to the no reply at salesforce.com. When you send case notifications, now you can actually choose the email address that your org uses as the default from address for case comments, case escalations, and case assignments. And that wasn't available before. So you can, if you set up an org-wide email for addresses that go out to your cases, you can now use that same email as well for the reply. Also in case management, there's something called profile filtering now. And the goal is to keep profiles safe from those who don't necessarily need to see different profiles. So admins now have control over agent permissions and how they assign exceptions. So when it's turned on, profile filtering restricts users from being able to view any profiles via the interaction layout assignment other than their own. It's not going to change if you have like delegated admins that set up profiles and things of that nature. Of course, they'll be able to see those, but you're able to restrict them to just regular users from seeing all of the profiles other than their own profile. There were some changes to knowledge. One of the ones I highlighted here was previously, if you favorited a knowledge article, and you happen to update that article, if you didn't refavorite it to the latest version, that favorite will still point to the old version. Now, if you do favorite a version and you upgrade it, you update it and publish it, your favorite will point to the latest version of that knowledge article. So you don't have to make any changes there. It will follow your favorite to the newest version.
So Angela, I'm sorry. So if we have an agent that favorites or bookmarks an article, if you publish a new version, that bookmark will actually automatically go to the new version without doing anything?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. So I can tell them I fixed it.
Yes, you'll be the hero, of course. Okay. There's some.
Can I ask one question on a few slides back on the in-learning, the in-app learning? Mm-hmm. And we haven't really gotten in there to play with it yet, but in order for that to show up on a user's in Salesforce, did they have to have a Trailblazer account or no?
I'm pretty sure it'll prompt them once you set it up for them to be able to go to that module. I'm pretty sure once they click on the link for it, that in-app help, they'll be prompted to set up their
set it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody use that? Anybody on this call here? I'm curious how like the authentication works. If you don't want to use your Salesforce login, has anyone used that here?
The in-app learning?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I haven't used the in-app. I did play with it. It's so funny because it just came up last night because honestly, Randy is on this call too. We're both from Crowley. We've been so inundated in implementations that we really haven't looked at this. So I actually got a call from a user that said, hey, what's this new button? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I went in and clicked it. It is a very, very cool concept. I looked for demos and I couldn't find it, but I'm just gonna, again, it was very late last night, so I need to try to find one on it. But literally, I clicked it, and at the bottom, it says assign, I forget how it reads, like assign learning to somebody, to a user. You click it, and I went in and I typed like opportunities or leads or something, and found a trailhead and assigned it to them. So I asked them, can you sign in and see if you can see it? And she could. So it was really pretty cool. It didn't make me do any kind of authentication, which is what prompted me to say, what happens to a user who hasn't even been in Trailhead? Both me and the other girl have taken Trailhead. So I'm curious to find it with someone that hasn't and what it looks like.
Interesting. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, is there anyone else who's played around with it? I've seen it in our Scratchworks, and I've had to mute it quite often, but I haven't set it up or played with it just yet.
I think because Salesforce is pushing towards a single sign-on for all of their things, for lack of a better word, to encompass everything, that when you're logging into Trailhead for the first time and you're connecting your orgs to it, whether it be a dev org or a sandbox, so it's because you're also having to install packages via that same login and tie it all to your Trailblazer.me, that it's starting to be a central point of contact and login for you. So when you're logging into a new org or you're setting up a new user and they're starting to do Trailhead, it's starting to connect those dots so that they can have a better viewpoint of you as an end user, more so than just you as a customer.
Does anybody else here not attach their Trailhead at all to their org where they work? I have mine totally separate.
Yeah, I don't like mine connecting either. So you have to be careful. I log out and make sure I log in under the right user. But yeah, they are starting to connect them all.
I think there's a way to kind of connect your accounts on Trailhead too, if ever an issue where you did complete something on your work email, but you wanted it on your personal account.
Yeah, I think as long as you're using a different email address, you're good. I think it automatically detects whatever email it is and tries to connect them together a lot of times when you try to do that. So if you want to keep them separate, I think you got to make sure you're using a different email address ultimately, I believe. Or if you accidentally do it, I think like you said, Dan, you can go into your settings or whatever and you can unattach or whatever it's called in there.
Okay. Some productivity features that's coming down the pike is you're now going to be able to monitor more changes in the setup audit trail. They didn't give a huge digestive list of what those new things will be, but there is a link on the releases site so you can kind of get more familiar with more of the changes that you're going to be able to see in the audit trail. Also, you're going to be able to add Zoom meeting links to events. Sales reps can now connect their Zoom accounts and automatically add Zoom meeting links to invitations created using insert availability feature. I think the one change is that normally you can add your link after the event has been saved. This time you're able to connect it before it's saved and send it out. So you can send out the Zoom link before they even accept the event.
Would that matter if you're using Outlook already?
No, it probably wouldn't.
I mean, I know not everybody, basically emails out of Salesforce, but I would think a large bit of users are using either a different mail agent to do that, right?
It just all depends. Like even in the spring release features, you have new sync with Google Mail, Outlook. So it just depends on what the organization is using.
Okay.
There's an optimized email management feature. So the reps can find email templates more easily with a renamed set of template choices. So My email templates has changed names to My Lightning email templates, and All templates is now All Lightning email templates. All classic templates has not changed. So when they are attaching an email template to a case, they'll get a list that'll say like My Lightning email templates or All Lightning templates, and they're able to select from that.
Wow, took them a while to change that. You thought that had been from the get-go. That's always been a confusing thing, right? So
Mhm.
they did that.
Also, there's a Salesforce Inbox Mobile, which is kind of like Salesforce's own version of an email client on your phone. So if you download it on your mobile, it'll integrate your email and your calendar that's on your phone with Salesforce. Purportedly, it's to help the sales reps manage their work more efficiently and increase their productivity while they're on the go. So I'm not sure if anyone will actually use it, but it'll be available for you. And then there are help text improvements. The limit has expanded from 255 characters to 500 characters for field level help. And it applies to both standard and custom fields, where it used to only be custom fields. So that was pretty cool.
Hey Angela, the inbox thing, is this license-based or free now?
License-based, I believe.
Yeah, Inbox is definitely still license-based
Yeah.
in general,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I mean, the mobile piece that she mentions probably comes with it now, right? But it's
Mhm.
still, in general, just license-based.
Okay.
Now they have a soft bounce email handling, which is going to be cool for marketing users. So now companies can use bounce handling so that their sales reps know when an email doesn't get delivered. And you can kind of track the email soft bounce, which is like a temporary delivery failure feature. And previously, you can only track hard bounces, which are permanent delivery failures. So that soft bounce feature is going to be good, especially for marketing stats and being able to protect your server from having the hard bounce permanent failures with Salesforce, because too many of those permanent delivery failures and they start to scale back on what you can send out.
But Angela, we shouldn't be treating Salesforce as a marketing tool by itself. That's why you have Pardot, and that's why you have Marcato. I mean, I think Salesforce even mentions that that you could have yourself blacklisted if you start trying to use it as a marketing tool unless you have an add-in. So I mean, I think the bounce feature is nice if you're doing one-to-one emails, but I think from a mass marketing standpoint, you could get yourself in trouble.
You can. Everyone doesn't subscribe to Pardot and the cool marketing tools that they have available. So I guess they're giving them some sort of easy way out, but definitely the whole email marketing piece is very regulated. You could definitely be your server domain can be blacklisted if you're sending a lot of emails and people are rejecting those. So okay. Now there is Lightning page performance. So as an admin, you can begin to collect better metrics around your Lightning page performance. You can now use gauges, visual metrics like gauges and bar graphs to get information on your page load time and your page behavior predictions. Hopefully, along with us being able to use these visuals, they have actually improved upon the load time. So that will be good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Glad to see that. They use the Lightning usage. I don't know. Do people use the Lightning usage app in general? I mean, you could get some limited information, but it looks like this might give a little more detail, granular detail, maybe than you get out of the Lightning usage app. So, but if you don't use the Lightning usage app, you should probably do that. I'd recommend doing that. Even if you've been on Lightning for a while, it does give some also information about your mobile users and some page information, that kind of thing. But this looks like it probably takes it to the next level. So cool.
Mhm. And then they've made a lot of changes on the analytics with reports and dashboards and other things. Now you can export your reports in the XLSX format. Previously, you can only do XLS or CSV. And if you are concerned about security, you can actually restrict users from using .xls. But basically that X is makes when you're using XLX, it's a more secure type download because it kind of protects against macros. And of course, it kind of compresses all the data and you can get more data. In the XLS workbook, I think your rows are limited to like a little over 65,000, and that gets increased significantly to over 1 million with the XLSX format. Say that fast. So you now have the ability to download in that format, which is pretty cool. Also, you have the ability to drag over multiple field selections, which I don't know why I thought I could already do that. But you can use like your shift or control and highlight multiple fields and drag them onto your report, which should help you more quickly move fields over to your report and what you want to see on your reports. So they now have the multi-select feature.
Amazes me it took them that long to incorporate that. You know, when the reports came out, you're like, man, that's like a feature that was great back in the old classic version of reports.
Mm-hmm. All right. And Einstein Analytics is now considered Tableau CRM. So Salesforce bought Tableau some time ago, and this is more part of integrating Tableau into the Salesforce platform. So it still uses AI and BI, and now they just roll it up and call it Tableau CRM. So you'll see that change if you use Einstein Analytics. For Salesforce Mobile, there has been a number of changes under this this heading as well. They have a new home feature, which is in beta right now, which gives you a number of customizable dynamic cards that show personalized information. You can now see things like your reports, upcoming events, recent records, and more. And they display information that's based on how you basically use the app. And you can easily drag and drop and rearrange these cards right within the app. So when it's turned on, the landing page and first tab is for, right now, I think this feature is turned on for iOS users. Not sure if it's on for Android just yet. Also, Apple's privacy policy, I just wanted to kind of mention it here. It will probably affect some of the things that you see in your mobile app. So if you do have users that are using Salesforce mobile app, you'll want to definitely look at the mobile app with the upgrade to see if there's anything that's not appearing. The new restrictions can prevent some of your custom web content from appearing. So you'll want to test that and make sure that you get a handle on it before it goes out to your users. And then also Salesforce has a new mobile app tablet experience. When you turn that on, it'll show in a single column layout that matches what they see on their desktop or on their phone. And it now also support Lightning apps, Lightning navigation, and Lightning record pages. And they're saying previously you had access only if you were in pilot or you logged a case. So now you're able to turn that experience on. And then also now you can adjust your forecasts on the go. Previously, forecasts were a read-only page, but now you can actually make changes to your forecast adjustments on your mobile. So it's pretty cool. Under customization, there have been a lot of changes to Lightning Flow. And one of the main changes is that they're now changing it to be called Salesforce Flow, which basically just kind of combines Flow and Process Builder under one umbrella. So you'll see Salesforce moving towards the Flow route and less towards Process Builders. There's a whole article on kind of converting process builders over to flows. And that's something that you can look into for your organization. One of the new updates to flows is that you can now use the prior value of a record that triggered your flow. And you can insert it here under this formula area. So now when a record is updated, you can access that record's prior values in the flow. The prior record global variable contains the record values immediately before the flow is run. And you can also use the prior values to check for changes and calculate differences in your flow. And I actually had to use that feature just recently, so that was pretty cool. Also, you can run part of a record triggered flow after a triggering event. And one of the enhancements to flows is that you can now have record triggered flows, scheduled flows, something that you could schedule tasks in Process Builder. So they're kind of marrying that functionality in flows. So you can add a scheduled path to your record scheduled flow if you want part of the flow to run at a dynamically scheduled time after the triggering event occurs. And you can base the scheduled time on when the record is created or updated, or on a field value in the record. And so you have to have permission to access the modify all data, but the running user associated with the flow's actions is the user who triggered the flow to run. So that was new that they added. And then also you can now send rich text emails from your flow using the send email action. And they have previously only used plain text emails. But now you can send email alerts and a rich text. And they've also added a new runtime error improvement for sending email actions to catch invalid email addresses as the sender types it. And stop me if you have any questions.
Any flow questions?
We have the Flow Master Andy on the call if you have
right.
You can also now build multi-column screens, which takes more better use of your screen real estate, especially when you have those wider screens that are accessing your flows. You can now add, divide the flow screen into multiple sections and columns to create a visually appealing and effective layout. This is, a lot of these features are in beta, so just remember that for statement at the beginning, but but yeah, you can now have multiple columns in your flow, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I don't know if you're used to doing flows and seeing all these runtime errors.
Ignore.
So I know. So now you can avoid repetitive Lightning runtime warnings and screen flows. If your Salesforce org is configured to render all URL-based flows in Lightning runtime, Flow Builder no longer displays a warning every time that requires Lightning runtime, every time that runs. So that will be much appreciated, not to see that all the time.
Yes.
And then there are some new debug features, debugging scheduled and triggered flows. Of course, now we have the triggered flows. You can debug directly on the canvas. Now supports the scheduled triggered flows. Updated the text and flow debug details and error emails to match the flow builder's elements for those scheduled triggered flows. So now you have the element names, create records, update records, get records, and delete records on your debugging. And then you can debug failed flows more easily. No more, normally you get that error email and you have to scroll. Oh, sorry, I'm scrolling now. You have to scroll all the way through it. I was triggered through the email and find the error. But now if you, you can simply click the link in the error email and it will open up the flow builder and go directly to the failed flow interviews path on the canvas. So they made that a lot easier. And then lastly, there are more features that you can use when you're creating scratch orgs for your organization, your test orgs. Now there are more features that you can add to your scratch org definition file. And they have a link for that you can go see what those are. I feel like that was short. Some extras, they're getting rid of original territory management. It's being retired. You'll have to upgrade to the enterprise territory management. We just talked about the repetitive lightning runtime warnings. We talked about earlier, Community Cloud is now Experience Cloud. There's some recommended Trailhead badges that you can kind of take a look at to get more information on all of the Einstein changes that they've made, as well as Service Cloud Agent Productivity badge. And of course, like anything, all of the resources, you have the Salesforce Spring 21 release notes. You read through all of those. You can do the Trailhead Spring Release Highlight Trailhead to find out more about the highlights. And then just some of the websites we all normally go to, which is Salesforce BIN, Automation Champion, and Jen Lee. They all have put their spring release highlight features that they've been interested in on their website as well. And that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the release notes.
Anything she talked about or she didn't that you guys have seen in the release and you wanted to kind of ask about, hoping we covered, but didn't, anything at all?
I don't know if it was in this release or was it previously, but there was talk about, was it dynamic forms or dynamic pages?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, how it works. Maybe someone could shed some light.
Yeah, so there's dynamic forms, which allows you to add sections on your page, your lighting pages, and add any limit number of fields that you want to, whether it's one field that's on a page layout or every one of them that's in your object on there. The other thing is the actions. You can also have actions display the one action on a page, depending on who you can kind of customize the filtering to see who needs to see that action or not, instead of creating a bunch of different page layouts and adding those actions per whoever needs to see it. You can just kind of put them all on one lightning page and just limit it on there on which profiles can see those actions, like creating a new record or editing or deleting, those kind of actions. So those are the kind of the two things I think you probably are asking about, is the dynamic actions and then the dynamic forms. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Angela, I think both of them are generally available for this release, right? Is that?
Yeah, they came out in summer 20. I mean, the release right before this one.
2 releases as a beta, whatever, but I think it's now they're generally available, I believe.
Yes.
Now, I know at least on the actions, I can't remember, the forms as well had limited like what objects they would work on. I haven't looked up on which ones. I know there's still some limits. There's only certain objects you can use those on.
I don't think the standard objects are supported. They are still not supported, I think. It's GA, but only custom, right?
I think there's a handful of standard now, but it's still not, like you said, not all of them. At least not the ones you would want to use them on, probably, right? Kind of thing.
I thought more is coming in summer 21 for this.
What is? I'm sorry, Deepta. What was that?
More was coming on it, like they're opening it
Oh.
up in summer 21.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I think I saw that the dynamic actions are available on some standard objects, but not the forms for
That's
standard.
what I saw. Okay. Thank you, Brittany, for that clarification. Yep.
I think there was also something about my domains. I think it's as of February 2022 that you have to have my domain enabled. I think it's compulsory as of February 2022.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard that, but that would make sense, right? Assuming, if you're not on Lightning, you could still enable your domain, but hopefully another nudge and push for anybody that's not on Lightning to scooch on over to Lightning and start using it. So.
Pretty
Slight
important in
nudge.
terms of security as well. I think is pretty good, pretty good idea from Salesforce.
Absolutely, yeah, and everyone, I'm sure, as you log in, you see the pop up all the time saying set up your two-factor authentication, because that's going to be required in the very near future as well to kind of help with security also. So yeah.
Can I add a couple of pointers about the flows, folks?
Sure, for it. Flow Master on the call. I love it.
No, just I mean, because I have had a chance to play with that stuff, and a couple of things. People get confused about scheduled paths and scheduled triggered flows for a good reason, because they are confusing. But the way you differentiate them is the scheduled path is for example, sending out an email an hour after the action happens. So it's a relative timing, right? An hour after, 2 hours after, 1 day after. It can be related to the field value. So it could be 1 hour before close date. You cannot do anything less than an hour right now. I think there's some workaround you can do, but right now it's not supported on the standard flow. And the scheduled triggered flow is for scheduling some kind of action. Let's say once a week, every Wednesday on at 8 p.m. or something like that. And you can do that, and it applies to all the records that meet the entry criteria. You don't have to loop through them. You can just process all of them. That's how they work. The debug advancement, unfortunately, sounds like the record triggered flow can be debugged now, but you cannot really debug it like the other ones. You have to fail it, and then you get an email. And on that email, you have the link, though. You can go and see what path failed, which is still helpful. So that's cool. Yeah. So those are the things I was gonna add. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate that for sure. Flow is big. Learn Flow if you don't know it already, for sure. And if you don't know Flow, you need to. Andy just finished a series on it, so you can learn whether it's at the most basic level or at a more advanced level. You can look through his series of on Salesforce Break is the YouTube channel if you don't already subscribe. So okay, so I'm gonna before I continue on, I'd like to take a quick group picture in our Zoom boxes. So if anybody is willing and able to turn on your camera, at least for a quick little pic, and then we'll move on to the next section of our meeting here. So I'll give everybody a second to come off, fancy yourself up, fix your hair, Lewis, and all that good stuff, and then turn your picture on. So. All right, so everybody, I guess I'll do a little count to 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, I think I got hopefully a good one there. All right. Okay, all right, I'll do it one more time. How about that? Is that okay? Do you guys mind if I do that one more time? All right, we ready? I'm gonna do this one more time. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, I think that one's the winner, I think. Awesome. Okay, thank you very much for humoring me there. I'd like to save that before I do something stupid to it and lose it. Okay, so let me share my screen again. All right, so the next thing I want to do, again, thank you, Angela, first of all, for for presenting all that information. You did a great job. You were able to go through a lot more than I normally do. So I appreciate the touching on so many different things that definitely probably solicited some additional questions that my presentations probably haven't in the past. Appreciate that, and definitely welcome to the group leadership. Appreciate you joining. So, all right. So what we want to do now is just kind of give everybody a little bit of a casual environment to get to know each other a little bit more in smaller rooms. So I don't know if you've ever done this before, but we have breakout rooms. I'll break us out into up to 5 people. And then we'll just spend about 10 or 15 minutes in those different rooms. Talk about whatever you want to, but try to keep it as casual. And I just have a topic here in case you can't think of anything you want to talk about. Just what was your least favorite food when you were a child, and do you still hate it, or do you love it now? Or just talk about food in general if you'd rather talk about food. But I just want to give everybody a casual environment. So what we're going to do, you're going to be randomly broken up into rooms. I'm going to open up the rooms in just a second. You'll get a notification on your screen. You'll have to click it to join the room, and then just go in there and talk. And then I will in the rooms, and then you'll get like a 60-second counter counting down from 60 seconds of when all the rooms will close in about 10 or 15 minutes from now. So I am going to do that now momentarily. Sign, create. Okay, so all right, here we go. For those that are here, I'm opening all the rooms. You can join your room and talk amongst yourselves. And then again, we'll join back again in about 15 minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully everybody had some good conversation. Anybody talk about some yummy food or disgusting food, or
Yeah.
a little of both, maybe, hopefully, at least?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, very good. Yeah, we already talked about it as we were talking. We're like, well, next, when we finally are able to get together in person, we need to coordinate a potluck. We all need to bring not our least favorite, but our most favorite food. Don't bring your least favorite food. Bring your most favorite food. So we'll do that maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, when we're finally able to meet in person again. So, all right. Okay, so now let's get to our last little bit. I'm going to share my screen again. Thank you for hearing us on that session there. Just kind of, again, just trying to give everybody a chance to get to know each other like we would if we were in person. So what we want to do is give away some certification vouchers. We talked about it earlier. Some folks recently got certified and some working towards it. Hopefully this will help encourage a few folks. We're going to do 4 of these. We're going to give away 4 certification vouchers. So be prepared for that. I'm going to spin the wheel in just a second here. And then if you are one of the winners, if you would, my email address is right there. So if you could email me at mark.lester@trailblazercgl.com, and then I will get that out to you. So let me, actually, I'm going to need to, here, I'll move this over, but I'm going to clean this up a bit because I only want it to be, okay, so let me try to get folks that are here. Well, actually, well, this is everybody that attended today. So I'll go ahead and leave everybody on. Hopefully we'll get some winners that are in person here, but I still want to capture some of those folks that were here earlier as well. So these are all the people on here, but if you don't see your name lightly spinning around, currently it's in alphabetical order, please let me know now so I can add it before I start spinning the wheel. And again, you have to live in America, so Salvatore, you unfortunately are not eligible because the store is only for in America, unfortunately.
Mark, I don't see my name.
I know. I took out anybody that works at the same place that I do.
Oh, well, there we go.
Sorry. Yes. Sorry, Louis.
Not like I need another certification anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah, right.
What's 17?
Right, exactly. Anybody else that doesn't work for Coastal Cloud doesn't see your name. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and spin this bad boy. First of all, I'm going to share my computer sound. Go full screen. And here is the first spin for the first winner. And the winner is Inda is the first winner. Awesome, Inda. Good job. Woo!
I heard you over there wishing that, sir.
Yes.
Woo! Congrats on that, Inda. All right. So what did you say your next cert's going to be, Inda? What's gonna be your next
Platform
one?
app builder.
Oh, yes, perfect. That's perfect. We got you
That
now.
is-
The clock is ticking now for when you're going to get it. So let's
Yes.
remove your name.
Yes.
All right, let's do this 3 more times. Glad it's somebody that's here. That's cool. So, all right, let's spin it again.
Yay.
Let's see who else wins. Congrats, Inda.
Go, go, go.
And Suzanne. Suzanne is our next winner. Suzanne still on? Congrats to Suzanne.
Congrats,
She was
Suzanne.
Suzanne Hours. So good.
Almost, Sam. Almost.
Awesome. I know, close, huh? So I'm gonna remove Suzanne. Congrats to her. I'll reach out to her individually to get her to give her email address. So 2 more winners. Let's do this. Yvette is the next winner.
Yay, Yvette.
Oh, thanks.
Yvette, congrats, Yvette. Good job.
Thank you.
And one more winner for today.
Trisha.
And Trisha is our last winner. So we have our 4 winners. Congratulations to everybody that won. I did have to clarify something. I just spoke incorrectly. We are not, unfortunately, giving out certification vouchers. I just had it on my head. But what we are giving out is gift certificates for the Trailhead store. So you'll be getting that instead of a certificate voucher, because I don't think we could do that on Trailhead specifically. So I apologize for any confusion. But yeah, so you'll get a gift card to be able to spend and buy some cool stuff on the Trailhead.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
So yeah, sorry about the
Awesome.
Thank you.
miscommunication there. So, but yeah, congrats to our 4 winners there. Again, send me your email at mark.lester@trailblazercgl.com, and I'll make sure you get your gift card emailed to you, and you can order whatever you want to and have it shipped directly to you. So, okay. All right, so I'm going to do real quick some. So I think we've kind of already gone through, but are there any general questions about today's session outside of what we discussed or anything before I get into some closing remarks and some upcoming events and such? All right. Okay. All right. So let's just kind of go over some updates here. I won't go into it here, but there's a link on here if you want to go into the quests that are happening. And if you haven't done those, make sure you're doing those. And to be honest with you, if you're in Trailhead doing something, you're probably qualifying for some semblance of a prize. But a lot of times they'll have different quests out there, and you'll be able to win vouchers like I talked about, or cool badges, or different things like that. So one of them's a hoodie, a Trailblazer hoodie that you can win right now. So check that out and see which ones you can maybe complete in the month. One of them is learning more about Spring 21 release. So if you want to earn a cool badge and be qualified, you can learn more about Spring 21 at the same time. So pledge 1%. I mentioned every time. If your company isn't already a part of this, certainly recommend reaching out to your company, because more than likely most companies already do this anyways. Either give 1% of their equity, profit, product, or time. We're all for. And then but if they already do it, might as well have Salesforce recognize them for doing that. So join that. Upcoming events, we're going to have another event next month on tentatively March 25th. And it's going to be basically finding your Salesforce journey path. I've had a lot of folks reach out to me over the last year or so, just kind of asking general questions about finding their way throughout the Salesforce ecosystem and how to determine their path, how to get connected with people, how to find jobs and opportunities, and how to get certified, all that kind of good stuff. So we'll go over a lot of that kind of stuff, different options there are in the Salesforce ecosystem to take as well. So we'll do that next month. And then is there any other events coming up from the other local groups? Salesforce Saturday, I don't think there's anybody on from the nonprofit or developer groups, but Andy, do you have anything scheduled for Salesforce Saturday currently? I know you've been hot and heavy in those that flow series.
Well, I have been doing these flow sessions. It's been 6 weeks, so, and now I have completed that. So I'm thinking if we have interested people, I want to do one, not this Saturday, next Saturday, meaning like 27th. So let me just say that out here, and then I'll announce it on our Trailblazer group.
Okay, awesome. Okay, we'll look for that then. Appreciate that, but and definitely appreciate it. If you haven't checked out already, again, Andy did a great, awesome job at kind of helping folks learn flow that don't know flow, and you should if you don't. So subscribe to his YouTube channel, Salesforce Break, and you'll get access to all of those videos that he did. Feel free to watch them at your leisure. So
Andy, what is your YouTube channel? Can you put it in the chat or?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'm just
Salesforce Break. Yep.
Oh, Salesforce Great. GREAT.
Break, like take a break from work.
Break.
Don't break the org.
Don't break the org, right? No doubt. Let it flow. All right. One of the last things I just want to mention is we are still going to tentatively have our Florida Dream, and we hope that by the end of October, vaccinations will be distributed enough that we can have this in-person event again. So right now we're having early bird tickets available. There's two different options when you go on to get those early birds. One is a non-refundable ticket, and one is a refundable ticket. So that way, in case you want to get it and you're not sure, you want to have that option for refunding, you can still do that. And we are looking for sponsors if you're interested. I think we also are taking speaker requests as well. It's at the same location it was 2 years ago. So if anybody went 2 years ago, it's the same place near the airport. Great hotel there. And then follow us on those social medias. Those are links on here, and I'll share this deck, later. So just wanted to get that out there and tentatively have that scheduled. Fingers crossed we'll be able to have that. We're looking forward to everybody, seeing everybody. So, and if you took any pictures or you want to post something, feel free to do so. That's our group at Twitter account at JaxFL_SF_Ohana. Some hashtags you can use, and here's some pictures from previous events. So feel free to share on Twitter or LinkedIn or wherever else you would like to. So, and then that's it. So thank you everybody for coming and attending today's session. A lot briefer than it normally has been, and I think this will be our cadence going forward. It's just having one presentation and having this some networking time of some sort until we can start getting in front of people again in person. So, all right. So thank you, Angela, again for presenting, and welcome to the group leadership. Look forward to continue to grow the group. So thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
All right, bye. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.